Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's episode of the Super Bowl 58 of the 815 Sports Podcast. We're going to talk a little bit about the Chiefs and 49ers. Kind of just doing videos sporadically now. Hopefully we end up doing an Illini video before March Madness starts. But in this game, we got the 49ers and the Chiefs. It's a rematch of the 2019-2020 Super Bowl right there before COVID. They played in Miami. And the Chiefs won that one 31-20. But the Niners had a different quarterback at the helm. That time it was Garoppolo. Now it's Brock Purdy against Mahomes 4 years later. And the Chiefs are underdogs, and the Niners are favored by 2.5. I think anytime Mahomes is an underdog.
Has he been an underdog the whole road to the Super Bowl besides the Dolphins game? I mean, they were underdogs at Buffalo.
Yeah,
right?
I think
they were underdogs in Baltimore.
Yeah, but like you said, they were favored against Miami. I mean, the Niners have been almost 10-point favorites against everybody they played so far.
That's pretty impressive. Say what you want about the Chiefs, but man, they just find a way to win, right?
Yeah, I mean, they beat two really good quarterbacks to get here. The MVP, who's going to be Lamar, and Josh Allen, who is a very good quarterback. And somehow the Chiefs just always get it done. I got to give him credit. Each year he's been a starter. He gets the AFC Championship game. This will be his fourth Super Bowl, tying Tom Brady.
He has been in the league 6 years.
Yeah.
And he's made it to the AFC Championship game
all
6 years in a row.
Yep.
I mean, that's incredible. You're gonna start being able to put him in the debate for the GOAT soon.
Yeah.
I mean, if not now,
if he wins this Super Bowl, he'll have 3 rings.
If he wins tomorrow, I don't see how he can't be the GOAT.
2 MVPs.
I don't know. Did Brady ever make it to 6 AFC championships in a row? 6?
8.
No, are you sure he's made it?
He made it to 8 in a row. I read earlier. He made it to 8 in a row.
I mean, that's pretty impressive in itself too. But
I mean, it wasn't his first 6 years in the league.
Huh?
It wasn't his first 6 years as a starter, but he made it to 8 in a row.
And the way Mahomes plays the quarterback position is different than Brady, right?
Yeah.
You knew Brady wasn't going to run. Brady was going to beat you from the pocket. Mahomes is a different dimension. That's why he's so hard to stop.
He can do everything. And he's more athletic than Brady, and he can make a lot of throws. I'm not going to say that there's no throw that Brady couldn't make.
No.
But some of the arm angles and things that Mahomes...
Brady wasn't going to make a 60-yard run on the run. A 60-yard throw on the run.
Yeah.
Where he just flings it.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at the game tomorrow, when you look at both teams, you can't argue that San Francisco is way more talented. They have so many more weapons besides the quarterback position. I mean, you got McCaffrey coming out of the backfield.
Samuel,
Kittle.
They have a really good fullback.
I mean, pick your poison. Check. Who do you double? Who do you spy on? Who do you just say, hey, you're our best defensive player, but you're gonna have to take him one-on-one? That's not what I would want to be asked to do in the Super Bowl. But I think you're gonna have to, because you can't double 4 players. So I think if it's a shootout, I think with the talent San Francisco has, I think it bodes well more for them. I don't know that Kansas City. I think they can go score for score with you, but they really haven't had to do that, right? The Baltimore game wasn't. What Baltimore scored? 10 points.
Yeah, well, and that's what I was going to say. That these are actually what I just told Jake before we started this, was that these are the 2 of the top 3 lowest scoring defenses, lowest allowing points.
Yeah.
Defenses. That the Chiefs are number 2 and the 49ers are 3. They both allow under 17.5 points a game. But in the playoffs, we've seen that be a lot different for the Niners. And I think I'm just going to go out and say it. I'm going to pick the Chiefs to win this game. I think Mahomes is obviously the much better quarterback. And I think Purdy has gotten away with the mistakes he's made against Green Bay and Detroit. And he definitely should have lost the Detroit game. They should have lost that game. Detroit was their own worst enemy in that game, and they should have lost to Green Bay. So the Niners have gotten here by pure luck, and I feel like their luck's going to run out in this game.
See, Detroit more lost that game than San Francisco did. I just think the way the way Dan Campbell managed that game
It was
in the
terrible.
fourth quarter was absolutely unforgivable because you might not get back there. How hard is it to get to the championship game?
Very hard.
Besides the Chiefs and the Patriots.
Very hard.
I mean, it's not easy. And
they had the game.
You had the game. I mean, these coaches have got to start taking the points. And I'll say it for tomorrow. If you're in field goal range, take the points. If it's fourth and 1, okay, 4th and 2. If you're inside the 20, I get maybe going for it, but how many games in the NFL come down to one possession?
Majority of them.
So how do you sleep at night knowing if I'd have taken the points here, if I'd have taken the points there, we might win by 3 instead of losing by 3. But I know you can't look at it like that when you're trying to make the call, but you just have to start – these coaches have to start taking the points because too many games come down to one possession. And if it does tomorrow and you're the team that didn't take the points –
yeah.
I know everybody – it's cool, right? Analytics say go for it on 4th and what? 4th and – is it 4th?
It's normally like 4th and 4 or less. They show
and the
up.
analytics say if you're on your side or if you're on the side going to score, you should go for it. I don't even know how those analytics work out because I feel like it doesn't work out for most teams.
I don't know. Back to like the Lions thing. They were up 24-10 in the third quarter, and Campbell could have kicked the field goal, and instead he went for it. And at that point, when they didn't get it, that's when the momentum really started to swing, and then some plays went the 49ers' way. And then he went for it again and didn't get it. He blew 6 points.
He was the one call was just a douchebag call. Kick the field. What are you doing? I mean, this is the NFC Championship game. This isn't Week 3 in the NFL. Okay, it's same when the Packers played in the divisional round.
Yeah, the
Packers
kick
the field goal. Yeah. LaFleur kick the field goal.
You're right, kick the field goal, but we did kick the field goal a little bit later, and our kicker sucks. You have to admit he sucks. Whereas the Lions have a lot better kicker.
The Packers were in like inside the 15-yard line or 20.
I think they were inside the 20 or 25.
It's going to be an extra point.
Yeah, well, you never know with our kicker, but yeah, that was – I don't want to relieve that.
I ultimately think the San Francisco 49ers win because they're the better team. But the better team doesn't always win because they don't have the better quarterback. And – Mahomes, they just find a way. The thing is you have to get to him. I've seen too many times where the blitz comes and he eludes it, and then he rolls out. Whichever way he rolls out, he makes the play. Like if you're gonna blitz, you have to get to him because if not, it's gonna be a 25, 30-yard gain because your defensive backs, your cornerbacks cannot guard wide receivers for that long, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're backpedaling. They have to look. It's easier to just run a route and try to break someone because you're running downhill. You have the advantage. And with Mahomes, I feel like that's – if you look at how they've won some of these games, it's him breaking out and eluding the blitz.
Him and Kelsey in that game against Baltimore, at least in the first half, looked – I mean, they were on the exact same page. And who knows? I'm not saying this is going to be Kelsey's last year, but he's going to be 35 next year. And as a position player, especially in football, that's getting up there in age. But just when you look there, the game against –
if they win, he's not going to come back, I don't think. Both Kelsey brothers aren't going to retire in the same season, are they?
I don't know. Jason's done.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think.
But just when you look at the way that they played together, I think Kelsey and Mahomes, this will be their toughest test because I think the 49ers so did Baltimore. Baltimore had a really good linebacker, had really good linebackers. When you look there, though, at Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw, and then on, down in your defensive line, your edge rushers, you got Bosa and you got Chase Young, even though I've read some reports that he takes plays off and they don't like it. But as far as Fred Warner goes, if you guys know me, I'm a huge fan of him. I think he's the best linebacker in football. And he's going to make Kelsey work for everything. There's going to be no doubt about it. I hope they actually let him play in this game. There's not flags every fucking, every other time there's a play.
Probably.
But I just think the key for the Chiefs to win this game is just going to be Mahomes playing out of his mind like we've seen him do so many times. And it's going to be somehow Travis Kelce is going to be wide open in the middle of the field and nobody's going to know how it happened.
that they're going to have to contain the Niners offense. Like I said, if it's score for score, that I don't think it bodes well for the Chiefs. I mean, look, eventually, Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey, sure, they're going to have a couple big plays, but if they're asked to do anything more than that, it's not going to be. These guys.
Pacheco's good. He's probably going to get 80 yards rushing, I bet.
I just think a shootout bodes well for the Niners, not the Chiefs. But if it's a defensive battle, then I think the Chiefs have a better chance. I just don't think can they put up 40 points? I know the Niners can.
I don't see why the Chiefs couldn't put up 40 points. I don't think either team's going to put up 40 points. I think you might see somebody get in the 30s. I don't see 40s. Another thing, if I'm the Chiefs, I'd let Purdy try to beat me because I'm not a fan of Purdy. I've seen what he's done in the playoff games so far this season. He had some very lucky throws against Detroit. And then when you look at Green Bay had him stifled in the first half.
Kittle?
No, Purdy.
Oh, Purdy.
Purdy was stifled in the first half. Even against the Lions, the first half he was bad. You want to. If I'm a defense, I'd rather have Brock Purdy try to beat me than Christian McCaffrey in the offensive line that they have there. That's just me.
If before the game, I'm telling Brock Purdy, just be you, and don't make too many mistakes. If they don't turn the ball over, I just don't see how the 49ers. I think this is one of the best offenses we've ever seen. They can hit you anyway for a 60-yard run, or they can hit you over the middle. Tight end. Pick your poison. This team is very good.
They are good.
I think too many people are talking about the Chiefs and not the Niners because of Mahomes. But you got the Chiefs, I got the Niners. So
yeah, would you take the 2.5?
I think my phone says 2.
Oh, okay. Google said 2.5.
So we'll somewhere just put it. It's just probably there's probably different lines.
Yeah.
So maybe 3 is probably the highest you'll see it. It's probably going to stay 2. So it's basically a pick 'em. You got to think it's going to be a heavy Niners crowd being in Vegas, right?
Well, I think it's just going to be a lot of celebrities.
There are going to be a lot of celebrities.
Really
I just remember watching some videos of, how they talk to the players and the crowd in the background. You heard a lot of let's go Niners, right? So
I think you'll have a lot of Niners and Chiefs fans in Vegas.
Yeah, but
watching it at various hotels and gambling.
As far as like being at the game, there's probably going to be 50% of the crowd that are actual fans, and the other 50% are just rich.
Yeah,
somehow won tickets. But it's always fun. They show the crowd, and there's fans of every team. They kind of show you, so that'll be fun to see. But the Super Bowl being in Vegas isn't for your middle class. It's not.
The Super Bowl is not an event for the middle class.
Well,
it is. It is for us to watch it at home.
Let's say the Super Bowl was played in Carolina. Tickets wouldn't be as much. You wouldn't be gambling your life away because there's casinos, but it's not Vegas, right? Or, Miami's kind of an expensive place too, but there are some places where like you could afford it, but the tickets out there for the game, come on.
I agree. I think the cheapest ticket I saw was like $8,000.
Seriously?
And that's only for one ticket. You're going to want to go with somebody else. So you're going to pay $16,000 for 2 tickets, minimum, right?
There's going to be 17 because each ticket's going to cost $500 more in fees.
Or if not more, yeah.
So,
and then you got to get a hotel room for a couple of nights. That's going to be expensive.
That's going to be a couple grand. It's good. I don't know
at the end of the day,
do it for $20,000. I don't think you could. If you got to fly, which depending on where you fly, the flight tickets might not be that expensive. Maybe to fly home they will be, but you're looking at a
$25,000 trip.
Yeah, unless you win, when you've got Dana White, Dave Portnoy, and somebody else at a casino table gambling, I don't even want to fucking know how much money's being spent there. And what casino are they at?
I don't know.
They're probably throwing stuff, and they're betting 15, 20. There's $20,000 rolls going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why you just watch from home.
And I'm sure Portnoy has close to $1 million on the game, if not more, because he already said he's got $500,000 on the Chiefs. on the Chiefs money line. He's got 500 grand on the Chiefs. Even if I had the money,
I don't.
I don't. My current position, even in 20 years, I could not justify spending $20,000
So,
to go watch
It,
my team play in
if
the
it
Super
was
Bowl.
my team, which I've never seen him play in a Super Bowl, you have, so it might be different. I could see myself spending
20 grand.
5,000 on a ticket. My limit would be 10. It'd have to be 10K. Flight, ticket, hotel. Which, if you're going with someone, or
Yeah,
if
but
you're
then,
going, the
then
hotel,
food,
the hotel's
drinks.
not. Your hotel's not going to be as much as you think because it's going to be split between the people that go.
Yeah.
Food and drinks, sure. I could see myself dropping 10K. That's it. That's it. Which I wouldn't be able to go because I don't think it's ever going to be that cheap.
No, I don't think so.
But I just like the national championship game for Kansas and North Carolina. What was that, a couple of years ago when
Well, that was a great game.
Kansas came back? But what I'm trying to get at is there were tickets for like $35 or $40.
Yeah, but that's a whole different
I know you're filling up. You're filling up a football arena.
100,000 seats, and most of the time you can hardly see if you're at the very top.
I'm just saying, like, why? There has to be something has to change in the future because if it's $8,000, which okay, let's write this down. I bet next. Do we know where we they've already come out?
Well, I could tell
Where
you where
is the
the
Super
next
Bowl at
the
next
next
year?
one is next year. I don't.
Because I'm going to tell you that tickets will not be $8,000
at
any other event.
I hardly disagree. I disagree with you on that. I think they will be up in the $7,000
I
range, no
think
matter
it's
where
Vegas.
they're at.
I watched a TikTok. I think it's Vegas.
Okay, you don't think it was the same thing in California last year?
I don't think they were $9,000.
I think they were $9,000 last year. I'm sure.
Well, California is a rotten state with money, so I mean, it is an asshole to live anywhere. But where is the 2025 Super Bowl?
New Orleans next year.
Okay.
And the year after that, it's in San Francisco, and then the year after that, it's in SoFi Stadium in California.
Really? So it's New Orleans.
So if I'm any fan, I'm hoping my team makes it to New Orleans next year.
I'll just tell. I would bet. We can make a bet. They will not be 8,000. Okay.
Are you saying average ticket cost, or what are you saying?
I'm not saying if you're going to sit at midfield row one. Yeah, sure. That's probably going to be 50,000. That might be 25,000.
Might be 100,000.
But I'm just saying, if you want to go, and you're a family that makes a decent amount, you probably can afford to go to a Super Bowl in New Orleans over Las Vegas. Come on.
I agree. You're still going to spend a lot of money on drinks and stuff.
But I'm just saying, you ain't going to have the gambling aspect because there aren't going to be as much gambling to do. And you just got to be able to tell yourself, I'm going to go to the game, but we're not going to gamble. We're just going to drink and have fun. And then you're only looking at ticket for the game, airfare, and hotel. I mean, I don't think it's going to be. I think it's Vegas. That's why everything is so much money.
When you look at it, I think Vegas, California.
And the two teams, the Chiefs being in it, and Taylor Swift. I mean, just everything brings the price up. I mean, let's just say this hypothetically.
While we're on that subject, how many times I saw somewhere the over/under was 4.5 times they show Taylor
They will
Swift
show
tomorrow.
Taylor Swift 20 times.
I wish I could find somewhere to bet on it because I'd hammer the over because they're just, like you said, they're just going to cut to her every time.
20 times. Every time the Chiefs score, they'll show that box. But
her and Brittany Mahomes.
Hypothetically, what if this was a Super Bowl in New Orleans? Just say the Dolphins were playing
the Bears.
Just give me an NFC.
You might get a lower.
Give me any other NFC team.
The Packers.
Okay, Dolphins Packers Super Bowl in New Orleans. Your average ticket will not be $9,000. Sorry.
Okay, it's gonna be over $6,000.
I mean, I think you might be able to get in for $3,000 or $4,000.
We act like that's a good deal.
That's not. It's terrible. I hate spending. When I go to Illinois games, if I have to spend over $100 a ticket, I can't stand it.
When the Packers made the Super Bowl in 2010-11, like I even have the the picture of it on my wall.
What were
The
the
ticket,
tickets?
the ticket at that time, face value was $1,100.
Now that probably wasn't the best seat in the house.
No, but you're still there.
Well, and it's just like the prices of trucks. When I
Yeah.
bought mine in 15, I bought it for $45,000. You know what a truck's going for now?
And that was
Double.
that was like a loaded model.
Mine was a loaded Lariat.
Yeah.
You know what they're going for now? Double.
Yeah.
85 or 90. Come on.
Yeah.
What is going on? It's inflation.
Yeah. Well,
What is
we
going on?
we won't start getting into all of that stuff, but we could go on a rant there too.
You can't afford. You can't afford this stuff no more.
You can hardly afford anything.
No, anything. But I just think Vegas plays a role. The Chiefs. That's why I just feel like your average ticket is $8,500.
I will say, now you haven't been to Vegas, right?
No.
For one, the stadium is amazing. I was there. It was fucking phenomenal. The Strip in Vegas is one of the. I'm not a big gambler. I limited myself to $100. Say what you want. I'm not going to go and blow a bunch of money.
It's
But-
stupid.
But when you look, like, just walking and seeing the hotels and the things they have built
Just
there,
sightseeing.
it's so cool. It
just
is
seeing.
very cool.
Like, I don't know why people have to go out there and gamble. Why can't you go out there and have dinner booked every night?
Well,
You're
you
gonna spend
do
you're gonna
that.
spend a lot of money anyways. Have dinner booked, walk the strip,
See a
do
concert.
some shopping. Well, why do you have to go spend $2,000 in the casino? I get it's fun, but you could go to the casino and drop $2,000 in 5 minutes, and then you're like, what the fuck do you do the rest of the day? You can't stay here because you've already gambled what you said you were going to gamble. Like,
Yeah.
I just feel like it's Las Vegas is the death trap. It is.
Yeah. It is a sight to see, though. It is.
Yeah, I mean,
it's-
I'd go and
it's
just
really
sightsee.
cool.
Spend my money drinking.
But at the end of the day, I got the Chiefs. Jake says he's got the Niners. I hope it's a good game. I think it's going to be a
I
good
don't see
game.
how it's not.
It'll be long and drawn out like they normally are, but
You know,
maybe one of these years our teams will get back in it.
Yeah, no, not mine ever.
I think my team's closer to being back in the Super
Ever.
Bowl than Jake's. To
I don't
be
know,
honest with you.
but I'm going to tell you, 6 months ago we wouldn't have said that.
No, not 6 months ago.
So-
but would you say it now?
I mean, I would say the Dolphins are in the same boat they're in 6 months ago. You just have to find a way to win a playoff game.
Yeah.
The Packers, and I think they both should be back in the playoffs next year. No,
Yeah, I would think they're both
I mean
back in
you
the
added
playoffs.
3 wild card
I
teams.
think the Packers have a chance to win the division next year. You're
They-
bringing
they
back
get-
you're bringing
you-
back majority of your offense.
You can't start 3-6 again.
Well, no, but I don't think that's going to happen again. Do you? You think they'll start
No.
3-6
I'd
again?
have to see their schedule. I think they're a lot better than I think they're a lot better now than I would have said 2 months ago.
And the Packers do play the Dolphins this upcoming year in Green
and
Bay.
it's in Green Bay. Great. Why?
Yeah.
Why do they have to play each other?
So we can kick your ass like we normally do.
Well,
When was the last time you beat us? That was the year they won the Super Bowl. So if the Dolphins do beat the Packers, that's also a good thing because that means we might make it back to the Super Bowl and win one. So either way, it's a win-win.
well, I think the Dolphins are something like 11-6.
Yeah.
In their 20 matchups.
In their 20-man. What are you just coming up with that?
Well, let me look it up.
Yeah, I mean the last 4
they
times
played each other that many times because they're both different conferences.
Oh, we beat you. We beat you
The
in
last 2
14.
times, yes.
We beat you in 18, and we beat you in 22. So we've what?
That's 3.
14, 18, 20. Yeah, last 3 times we beat you.
Green Bay Packers are 6-10 versus the Dolphins of all time.
All right. Well,
So you got to win 4 more.
yeah. Well, it'll take a
And then
while.
it'll even be 500.
It'll take a while. But Jake's team's got to win 2 more of these to be equal to us in Super
Wait,
Bowl rings.
were those championships or those Super
No,
Bowls?
Super Bowl. We won Super Bowl 1, 2, Super Bowl 45, and Super Bowl
So you won Super Bowl 1. So you
36, I
won
want to say.
when they changed it over in 66 and 67.
Yeah, we won 1 and 2.
God,
And we have 13 championships. 4 of them are Super Bowls.
I can't help that the Dolphins weren't around when it was 1800 BC. I'm sorry. They weren't. They're an expansion team that came out in 1966.
The Dolphins were around for the Super Bowl. Yeah, so they were around for the first year of the Super Bowl, and
Right.
they won it in 72.
Right, so that's super. I think they won Super Bowl. They were in. You said 66 was when they merged. So the Dolphins would have won how many Super Bowls till 72? Is that would they?
Well,
won
you're only going from like 65, 66 to 72. So
so like 6 or 7.
yeah, not that many.
They were in the Super Bowl 71, 72, and 73, and they won back to back. So they could have won 3. They didn't.
Gotcha. If the Chiefs win, this would be the first time a team's won back to back in 19 years since the 03-04 Patriots.
It don't happen.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. But that's pretty much all I got. Me and Jake could ramble for another 45 minutes. Jake, you got anything to add?
I think the Niners got it.
All right. Everybody enjoy the Super Bowl. We'll see you next time.